Welcome. Thank you for coming to the show today. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about websites, what they need to have, and what they need to do. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those who are listening and watching live, we are currently streaming on 8 different platforms. And so, welcome. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you do have questions, comments, there are sections within the stream that you can actually post your comments, and I'll do my best to highlight those and answer your questions. But let's go ahead and first get started. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about websites. You know, as leaders and entrepreneurs, and even just as people in general, a website can be very beneficial and helpful to what you are wanting to accomplish. A lot of times, especially if you're wanting to build a personal brand or if you have a business, a website is absolutely essential. But even if you are even like applying for a job, you're going to want to have a website that you can take people to, because most people are online these days and that's what they look for. I recently read somewhere that most people now, instead of going to their parents for help and asking them questions, they a lot of times go to Google. And you want to make sure that Google is able to find you, and so that you're able to answer people's questions. A lot of times when I look at resumes, I see people have a website that links to a digital resume. And that's great, because now I can see videos of them. I can get to know them a little bit better. And that's something that's very beneficial for somebody, especially your business and whatnot. But a website really makes it real. You know, I don't think a business can really push forward if it doesn't have some kind of online presence. Now, a lot of people do have their social media handles, but there are so many people on social media, and there are also a billion websites. And so making it so that you are just well known is the most important thing. A website is great. It's important, I think, but also social media presence and being active on it as well. So let's go ahead and go through some of these tips here. So the first thing that your website is going to need is a clear description of who you are. Okay. And it should be very apparent as soon as someone gets on your website. They call it above the fold. So right when I get to a website, I want to be able to see exactly what this website is about, what they're selling, and if I'm on the right page. Okay. So tell people right away that you have what they're looking for. All right. So that's the first tip. I know that's kind of vague, but depending on what you're selling, depending on what your website is for, you're going to want to make sure that whatever they're landing on, whether it's a landing page or the home page or something, you're going to want to make sure that it's clear and consistent with your message. All right. The second one is a simple and sensible web address. All right. Don't make it complicated. You want to make it to where people can easily type it into a browser or into their email. I highly recommend a .com address if you can get it. I myself have a .co, just because michaelglover.com is not available. MikeGlover.com is not available. It's a very common name. And so I do my best with that. But I recommend a .com if you can get it. Make it less than maybe 15 characters. If you can, the shorter, the better. Something that's very clear. If you're a nonprofit, for example, you're going to want a .org address, but you still want to buy the .com, because that's something that resonates with most people when they think of your company or your organization, your nonprofit. They're still going to type in .com, but there's a simple redirect that you can have there. All right, I'm going to look at the comments here. Hey, thanks, Matt. I appreciate you. Love the nuggets you're dropping. That's awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and go a little bit further. Oh, and then also with your web address, try to avoid dashes in the domain. All right, it's a headache for your search engine optimization or your SEO, and numbers. Also, try to avoid numbers. Like if you're like the third website, for example, am I typing in THIRD or am I typing in the number 3RD? It's confusing to customers and it can cause them a little bit of confusion. And so you want to make it very simple for people to go to the website here. Okay. All right. And then now let's talk about an easily navigated menu. Okay. Most visitors are not going to read your site. They're going to want to be told where to go next. And it's going to be very important for you to make it very easy, very clear of what's available in your website. And even though you may have a ton of content, you want to make sure you're directing them where exactly you want them to go. Oops, sorry about that. All right. So I would recommend in your website menu is not having more than maybe 6 to 8 main topics on your menu. Sometimes I see people with 10, 15 things within their menu, and I'm kind of scanning through it. I'm trying to see exactly where to go, but just make it very clear on the top, and then use drop downs if necessary, if you absolutely need to use those, so that people can mouse over those parts of the navigation and see exactly perhaps where they want to go. All right. So now the next topic is an easy to find contact information. Your potential clients and your current clients should have a very clear way of contacting you. And every person is different. You know, some people want to contact you through email. Some people want to contact you through a web form, or they may contact you through social media, through direct messages. So you want to have all those options available at some point on your website, and have multiple ways for people to contact you, and have that contact be as soon as possible, maximum 24 hours. And make that clear to them of when they should be able to hear back from somebody if you're for some reason not available. But have your phone number available, have your email address, contact forms, live chat even is very important to have on your website, so that people can contact you in the way that they're most comfortable, that's less threatening to them, and that you're able to give them the information that they are looking for. Okay. So the next topic is now customer tutorials. You want to have some kind of social proof. You want to have some kind of third-party person telling people about you, about your service that you've had, or the service that you give to people. And hearing it from somebody else is different than hearing it from yourself. So having some kind of customer tutorial, or not tutorial, customer testimonial, of what people love about your service, because that also resonates with them. They see other real people like themselves who have interacted with you and are able to vouch for the service that you have. Okay. All right. So now, along with, customer testimonials and all that and contact information, the next thing you're going to want to have is an obvious call to action, right? Just like what we said in the easy navigation, people need to be told what to do next when they get onto your website. All right. So as soon as they get to your website, what is the call to action, right? What is it that this website wants me to do next? Is it, for example, to contact them for a free quote? Or is it a form to download a free guide or PDF for something that I might be looking for? And this is huge right now, because a lot of people are moving away from generic websites to more of these landing pages or sales pages. And that's exactly kind of what you're wanting to have also. Something very simple, very concise, that has a simple call to action, very clear what you're wanting me as a potential client or visitor to do next. And it's right there above the fold before I scroll below anything. It's there, and it's very clear. There may be even flashy buttons or a button that actually stands out for what you're wanting me to do next. Now, all of this won't be worth anything if people can't find your website. So you're going to want to actually have a very good SEO. And what SEO really stands for is search engine optimization. And it's not super complicated. People try to make it super complicated, but it's not something that you need to be a web engineer or anything like that for. A lot of website builders nowadays have SEO tools. Some of them are very basic, but sometimes that's all you really need, because what we're going to talk about next is even more important, that goes along with your SEO, and you can even hire people out if you want to do really good SEO and make it so that your website is constantly coming up at the top of the list. Okay. So the next one is fresh quality content. People are not going to know if you are still in business if they come to your website Are you still alive? Is this business still viable? Is it up to date with its current content? Having fresh content out every day. Why do you think I'm doing all these live streams, right? I'm doing a live stream every single day. By the way, if you're watching, go to mikeglover.co/YouTube to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make sure you give me a thumbs up and a like and comment on questions that you have there. So just checking the comments real quick. Okay. So fresh quality content, having fresh content on there. A lot of times that can be a blog, but not just a blog. There's so many ways to have fresh content on your website. A lot of people are now focusing so much of their attention on social media, and social media can help get you out there and get you known to people, but you want them to be redirected to what you're selling on your website, whether it be yourself, your brand, or a product. But you're having fresh quality content on there talking about what you do or what you sell. And that can be a blog, podcast, videos, whether they're live or pre-recorded. So that's absolutely important. Now, it's also extremely important to have a secure hosting platform for your website. I've had clients before that have come to me, potential clients then, current clients now, where they buy a group hosting for a WordPress site, for example, and they buy the basic stuff that WordPress provides or their hosting provider provides, because WordPress is typically, free, but then you pay for hosting, you pay for security, you pay for plugins. There's a lot of things that can cost money there, but you're going to want to make sure you have a secure hosting platform, because there are a lot of hackers out there who are looking to target your website, steal your information, and not just your information. If you are having a product, you want to make sure that it's secure, because hackers can even put something on your website that steals potential client information. You typically can't even sell anything or have a cart without having some kind of secure certificate, right? So the first thing you're going to want to make sure of is that your website has this padlock on the screen, right? We saw it right here a little bit. This padlock right here that you see shows that has a secure SSL, and that SSL stands for Secure Sockets Layer, right? And that makes it so that people like me coming to your website can feel a little bit safer about searching your website. People aren't looking at my location or trying to steal information that may be on there. It's also important to have an HTTPS in front of your domain, because that also shows that you have a hypertext transfer protocol secure. Okay, and I know that's a lot of technical information, but sometimes you see an HTTP / whatever, and that shows that website's not secure. And you may even get your browser to say that this is a threat, right? Your connection is not secure. So I myself have a VPN, which helps with that, but making it so that websites I go to are secure, that my information is secure, and all that kind of stuff. So these are just some basic things. These were the 10 things here. Last one that we have is a design and style that's friendly to online readers. Okay. Make sure that your website is optimized, especially for mobile. Okay. Most people are looking at websites on their tablets or their phones. They still look at them on desktop. So you want to make sure that's good as well. Don't ignore the desktop design also, but you want to make sure that your website is very friendly on the mobile version as well, because that's where the majority of your traffic is going to be coming from. Now, people typically don't just sit down and read websites. If you have a good design that's clean and simple, give them a reason to stay. You have short paragraphs on your website, have bullet points on your website, and then give them the option to dig deeper. Dig deeper into like a blog post or a video, and have them go deeper if they want. But the very beginning, you want your clients or your visitors on your website to kind of see a clean and concise website that they can just scan quickly, see if it's the information that they want, and then dig deeper at that point. So I hope this was helpful. If there are any comments or questions, let me know in the chats. But if you have any kind of questions, I will do my best to answer them. If you have more comments or questions that you want to talk to me about personally, you can always go to my website and go to mikeglover.co/discover, and schedule a time with me there to answer your questions. And of course, you can find me on Facebook and of course on YouTube. Thank you guys very much for watching, for listening. If you're watching the replay, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast, be sure to subscribe there as well. We are available, or I'm available on all of the major depository platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, everything. So you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you again soon. Thanks.